Hey guys, so it's PhillyFan21 here with a very different type of video from what I would usually do. I've been waiting for a really good time to make a video like this, and that my channel's grown a little bit, and the NBA season about to come back. I think this is the best possible time for me to do something like this, talking about basketball. So we have a lot to talk about with this Sixers team. Before we do that, go hit the like button, subscribe, leave a comment. Let me know if you want me to keep doing videos like this in the future, and let me know any other kinds of videos you want to see me do, as well as I'm going to keep making mixes and hype videos and mini movies on this channel. So without further ado, let's get into the video. So before we talk about anything, let's first talk about some offseason acquisitions that the Sixers made. So the first guy is Seth Curry. We traded away Josh Richardson and our second round pick, who ended up being Tyler Bay, I think, to the Dallas Mavericks for Seth Curry. And he brings shooting, which is the main thing we were missing on this team last year and we need on this team. He's second all-time, I believe, at around 44% for his career shooting threes. I think he's going to be a perfect fit with Ben Simmons along with Joel Embiid, as Ben Simmons can, create, averages a lot of assists, is a great playmaker. Running in transition, he gets a lot of guys open for three. And then Joel Embiid, who posts up a lot, people can come double him, and then he can kick it out to Seth Curry. And then another point I want to make is that JJ Redick and Embiid ran this dribble handoff action that worked very, very well back when he was on the team. And I think we'll see a lot throughout the season that Seth Curry can also do that same sort of thing with Embiid. I think we saw it at least once in the preseason already against the Celtics. A play that comes into my head, Embiid, I think on the right side of the court, just hands off the ball to Seth Curry, sets a screen, Seth Curry comes around and shoots a mid-range shot. So I think that'll be very valuable for us. So another key acquisition by the Sixers in the offseason was Danny Green. So the main thing about this Danny Green trade was that we got rid of Al Horford and his contract. He was making like 120 some million over 4 years. He was not producing to that level, obviously, which is, I think it's just a great trade that works for both teams. As the Thunder are rebuilding, they got some picks out of it, and we got a player that can play defense a little bit, not as good as he used to be, but he can still play defense, and then he can also shoot the three, even though in the bubble he wasn't that great, especially in the finals. You saw that missed three from the top of the key that probably would have won them the game in Game 5, but I think we'll see a lot more of the Danny Green from Toronto a couple years back when he shot, I think, 45% from three. Maybe not quite that good, but he'll still be shooting pretty well. He's a career 40% three-point shooter, so I think we can rely on him. Plus, his veteran leadership will be good, and he'll be a great fit, just like Seth Curry, with Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons as he provides shooting. He can do the same sort of things. Not quite as good of a shooter as Seth Curry, not quite as good coming off the screens, but he's a better defender. And I think his leadership and locker room presence will really help out this team a lot. Another key piece that we added in the offseason was Dwight Howard. We signed him to a one-year deal in the offseason, and I think this is a great pickup for multiple reasons. Number one, we needed a backup center after Al Horford left, and I think he'll supply the same amount of production. Maybe not like the shooting, but even Al Horford last year wasn't that great shooting the ball, as all Sixers fans should know at this point. But I think he'll have some of the same production, especially on defense, for the veterans minimum, and Al Horford was getting paid $20 million per year to basically nothing. So I think this is a steal, honestly. I think he brings defense to the team, which we need. Obviously, when Embiid's off the court, we need to have a good center that can play defense and make sure that the other teams don't just light us up when Embiid isn't playing. He brings energy on the court and off the court, so he'll be a good locker room guy. He's got a good veteran presence, just like Danny Green, both coming from the Lakers, having just won the championship. So I think he'll be a really good pickup for this Sixers team. So another guy that we added in the offseason is Tyrese Maxey from Kentucky. We drafted him 21st overall, and I think he's going to be one of the steals of the draft. Players coming out of Kentucky can typically translate to the NBA level. He can be a good scorer off the bench. He's quick. He can get to the rim. He can score at all three levels. I think you'll see with his three-point shot in college, I think he shot around 29%, but he could shoot from the free throw line. He had a good free throw percentage, and his form is good. So I think you'll see his three-point shot will actually be a lot better than a lot of people will think it is. And he's a good defender, which is also very valuable, as a guy that can, play offense, score on all three levels, and then also play some defense at the guard position is very valuable in today's NBA. So I think he'll be also a very good pickup for us. One of the most exciting things that we did in the offseason was we hired Doc Rivers to be our new head coach. I think he's one of the best coaches in the NBA. He's established. He's won a championship. He's coached for, 20 years. Maybe this is 21st year. I think it's around there. I think, obviously, Brett Brown, he got out-coached in the playoffs time after time after time. I think every time we lost in the playoffs, he was out-coached by Brad Stevens or Nick Nurse. So I think he'll be a big improvement over Brett Brown. And I think he brings the best out of his players and his stars. I think he'll be good for Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons, and Tobias Harris, even, who played for him when he was with the Clippers, and that was when he played his very best. Led him to get signed for a max contract, which he doesn't deserve, but we needed to do that to make sure we didn't lose him and Jimmy Butler. Anyway, I think Doc Rivers will be really good in another sense that he'll make adjustments in the game, and also, if it's in a playoff series between games. Brett Brown, I don't think, was great at doing that. I never really did. I'm just glad that this is a guy that's going to be coaching our team, and I'm really excited to see what he can do with our young core, especially our two stars, Joel and Ben Simmons. So the last pickup I'm going to talk about of the offseason is hiring Daryl Morey to be our new president of basketball operations. He's one of the best GMs or executives in the entire league, and he's very well respected in the league. I think most people would agree he's one of the best. He's already made some great moves adding shooting, like I already talked about Danny Green, Seth Curry, and he'll make moves if needed. So if what's working or what's going on right now isn't working, he'll make the necessary adjustments, make a trade if needed. I don't think he's going to go out and trade for James Harden. I know a lot of Sixers fans do want that to happen. I'm one of the people that wants to hang on to Ben Simmons. I would definitely not trade Ben Simmons for James Harden. I don't think James Harden translates to a championship, and I think it mortgages our future all into the next 2 years, which I think he'll leave, and then we'll be stuck. So I definitely wouldn't do that. So I think Daryl Morey is smart enough to know not to do that trade, and he'll make necessary adjustments with the roster when we need to do that. So the next thing I'm going to talk about is things to watch throughout the season, and the first one of those things I'm going to talk about is the development of our two stars, Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid. I'm really excited to see what Doc Rivers can do with these two players. His play calling and his system, his offensive system, will help them out tremendously, especially playing with each other and the new shooting we just got. And Brett Brown did not run pick and rolls at all when he was a head coach, and Doc Rivers definitely said that we're going to run more pick and rolls with Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid, and I think that'll help them out a lot. Both will be great on the defensive end. Last year, Ben Simmons, I thought he should have been Defensive Player of the Year, so did some other people. He wasn't even in the top 3, and I don't understand how that happened, but he can guard positions 1 through 5, and Joel Embiid is one of the best defensive centers in the entire league, and I think he's the best center in the entire league. So expect Ben Simmons to also slightly develop a jump shot. I'm not saying he's going to turn into Steph Curry, because that's not what we need him to be, and that's never what he's going to be. But he's been working with Sam Cassell, who's also an assistant coach we have on this team. He's going to develop a little bit of a mid-range game. Expect that, and maybe he'll even shoot from 3 a little bit, especially in the corner. I know against the Pacers in the preseason, he stepped into a 3 from, I think, the wing, and he looked pretty confident doing it. So I don't expect him to shoot 5 threes a game, but maybe 1 3 a game, maybe take a couple mid-range shots. He's not going to force something that he doesn't think is necessary, but I think he will start to develop his jump shot a little bit. And here's a bold prediction that I have. I think either Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid, or maybe even both of them could be in the MVP conversation, depending on the success of the team and how well they play under Doc Rivers. And I'm going to get into my record prediction a little bit later. Another guy that I don't think many Sixers fans have been very high on very recently has been Tobias Harris, and I expect I'm going to watch him throughout the season. I expect him to improve because, for one, Doc Rivers knows how to use Tobias Harris. He coached him on the Clippers, and that was when Tobias Harris was playing at his very best, shooting 43% from 3. He was not dribbling as much as Doc Rivers said. He wants to get Tobias back to being a quick decision player, cut down on the dribbling. He's going to be utilized more in the pick and rolls, which I think he excels in the pick and roll, and Brett Brown didn't run him in that very much. And I think he'll get his three-point shooting back up, not to 43% or whatever it was, but 38, maybe up to 40. He just needs to be a good three-point shooter for this team, and I think Doc Rivers can help him become what he's not really a max player, but kind of what he was when he was back on the Clippers, and maybe even a little bit better than that. Now, another thing to watch throughout the course of the season is Shake Milton and Matisse Thybulle coming off the bench. I think Shake Milton is going to be our go-to scorer off the bench. I think he's a bucket. He's going to be an improved defender as he's put on a little bit of weight in the offseason. I don't think he's put on, whatever he said, 12, 15 pounds of muscle, because I don't think that's possible. But I think he's put on a little bit of weight, and he's going to be a better defender, and he's going to be more aggressive offensively. I think Doc Rivers has given him the keys, put his faith in Shake Milton. You saw what he could do against the Clippers playing against Doc Rivers, scored 39 points on Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. So I think Shake Milton could even be a sleeper pick for the sixth man of the year. I'm not saying he's going to win. I'm not saying he's going to be in the top 3. I'm just saying he's going to be in that, upper tier of sixth men, going to play very well off the bench. And then Matisse Thybulle, I know he hasn't looked great in the preseason, but he's just coming off an injury, and he's kind of not really been practicing as much as the rest of the team. And he's still a great defensive player. You saw against the Pacers in the preseason, he was able to get a few steals. He's playing great defense. I think he got a couple blocks as well. He's going to do that on defense. What we're looking for this season, what I'm looking for, is him to improve his three-point shot. I'm not asking him to put the ball on the floor, create for others. I just want to see his three-point shot get a little bit better. And if he can do that, I think he'll be a very valuable piece off the bench. He'll always have a spot in the rotation, in my opinion, because of his defense. But I think if he can progress his three-point shot and continue to better that, he'll be able to be a really good piece for this team, and especially moving into the playoffs. So let's finally get into the record prediction for this season. I think with improved shooting, like I talked about, a better roster fit with Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid, like I talked about, and especially with better coaching from Doc Rivers, like I talked about, they can finish third in the Eastern Conference with a record of 51-21. That is my prediction for this season. I don't think they're going to play up to their potential until maybe after the first 20 games, maybe not even that, maybe a little bit longer. But once they do that, once they figure out how to play with each other and the new coaching system, new offense and all that, I think they will hit their stride and really start to play well. And I think they have a good chance of even being a team that can make it to the NBA Finals, as we saw the Miami Heat surprised everyone last year. I think the Sixers could do that this year, depending on, we can maybe make some moves during the season, or maybe this team right now just plays well enough that they can get there. I think this team has a good chance of being a championship team, maybe even winning the entire thing. So that is all for today's video. Thank you all so much for watching. Let me know if you want to see me do more things like this in the future. I know maybe today I sounded a little bit weird, a little bit like I didn't know what I was doing, but I promise as I continue to make videos like this, I will get better at just sitting and talking to the camera. It's a little awkward, but I'll get a little bit better at it with each video. So subscribe if you do enjoy my channel, want to see more videos like this and the content that I already do make. I have a Sixers hype video that I made a few weeks back. It's my most successful video so far, so go check that out. I'll put it at the end of the video. Make sure you watch that. Leave a comment, like, subscribe, and thanks for watching the video. Hope you all enjoyed, and see you next time.